Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Cole. It's late Wednesday evening, May 31st, and we're going to call this video 3A for Political Science 1013 for the summer 2023 term. Just a quick update on recent events, everybody. Just this evening, the agreement to raise the debt limit passed the House of Representatives. It passed with the support of a majority of both Republicans and Democrats in the House. It received over 300 votes, and a little over 100 members were opposed. About 1/3 of Republicans were opposed. About 1 out of every 5 Democrats were opposed. But it still passed fairly easily. We'll have to wait and see over the next few days how the commentators assess the performance of President Biden vis-a-vis Speaker Kevin McCarthy in the negotiations. The bill actually received more Democratic than Republican votes, which could be seen as a setback for Speaker McCarthy. On the other hand, it had been feared, or at least speculated, that Speaker McCarthy would have a hard enough time holding his caucus together, that he might be ousted as Speaker, possibly as retaliation for supporting such a thing. It now appears that that will not be the case, as best that anybody can tell, although we'll have to wait and see. The Speaker made many concessions to those trying to outflank him on the right when he was elected back in January. And you might have heard that there was a hold-up of a week or two and a series of votes that had to be held before Representative McCarthy could be elected Speaker. In order to get elected, it was speculated at the time that he had made concessions to other members of his party that would significantly weaken him and make it possible for members of his party in the House to get rid of him if he displeased them. It now appears that he's been able to hold his party together well enough that that may very well turn out not to be the case, but it remains to be seen. One of the main bones of contention in the legislation that was passed tonight by the House was the imposition of work requirements for programs like the SNAP program, food stamps. Those of you who may be writing a paper about the Farm Bill, that will have implications for the Farm Bill, so it's something worth paying attention to. The legislation now goes to the Senate, and it must pass the Senate, of course, before it can be signed into law. The main obstacle was believed to have been the House, so it is expected now that the legislation will win final passage without too much trouble, although we will have to wait and see what happens in the House. It needs to pass by Monday, because it's been estimated that roughly by Monday the federal government may run out of money. But it now appears with the House having voted to pass the legislation, the main obstacle to its passage and to the raising of the debt limit has been overcome. The other main bit of news in the past few days, just as I was getting my announcement of a week ago out, Governor DeSantis announced that he would run for president. Governor DeSantis of Florida, who's going to pursue the Republican nomination for president. Governor DeSantis is believed to be the most significant challenger to former President Trump. Some of you may be aware, Governor DeSantis has made quite a reputation for himself as a culture warrior. He was reelected by a significant margin in the state of Florida back in November. For the moment, it appears as though former President Trump has a sizable lead. He appears to start the campaign with 1/3 to 40% of all Republican voters in his back pocket, when we consider whom might receive the most support in Republican primaries. None of the other candidates, including DeSantis, is especially close to former President Trump, although DeSantis is running stronger than all the other candidates who have declared. It's also being reported that within a few days, former Vice President Pence will declare his candidacy, as will former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, making for several Republican candidates in the field. For the time being, it appears as though former President Trump and President Biden have sort of preempted the field in their respective parties. But of course, votes won't actually be cast for months, not until early 2024. And the way this process has worked in the past, once the votes actually begin to be counted and the actual primary contests are held and votes are cast, the situation can become volatile. So as long as Biden stays in the race as the incumbent, he has a huge advantage. Former President Trump is clearly the front runner in his party, but it could be a little more volatile situation there than among the Democrats, because there is a considerable body of opinion to the effect that the Republicans need to move beyond Trump, and there are a good many of them who want to do that, although Trump has a big lead at this time. The only other thing I'll mention, everybody, is would be beginning in really just a few minutes now. I'm speaking to you just before midnight. At midnight, the second discussion will be beginning for 48 hours, discussion 2, over media consumption habits. We linked to you a very short piece from the Wall Street Journal's Future View feature, featuring comments of a number of college students about their media consumption habits. So see what you think of that, and I hope many of you will put your 2 cents worth in that discussion that will be running now all day. Let's see, Thursday and Friday, the 1st and 2nd. All right then, everybody, we'll be talking to you again over the weekend, so I hope you take part in the discussion. Study hard and take it easy. We'll talk to you in a few days.